The Monaco Grand Prix proved to be a challenging weekend for Mercedes, marked by both promise and frustration. George Russell once again showcased his qualifying prowess, outpacing teammate Lewis Hamilton for the 7th time in 8 races and securing a respectable P5 on the grid. Hamilton, on the other hand, could only manage P7, sparking whispers about a potential advantage from a new front-wing upgrade on Russell's car. Hamilton's dejected post-qualifying comment was a bombshell: "I don't expect to beat George for the rest of the season." During the race, Lewis Hamilton was frustrated Mercedes did not tell him to push on his outlap after a pit stop in a bid to undercut Max Verstappen. Team principal Wolff admitted the team should have been clearer. Despite the team's hopes for a stronger showing, Mercedes acknowledged that their P5 and P7 finishes were likely the best the W15 could achieve this weekend on Sunday. But off-track reports suggest a storm is brewing behind the scenes. At the centre of it all is James Allison, the mastermind behind Mercedes' dominant years, whose recent attempt to resign has sent shockwaves through the F1 world. Ever heard of a high-flying eagle grounded by a few ruffled feathers? That's pretty much what's happening at Mercedes right now, and James Allison is the one trying to smooth those feathers. Fresh off his return to the team, Allison has found himself tangled in a technical mess, left behind by Mike Elliott. Now, while Elliott didn't single-handedly create this mess, he certainly didn't help. Allison, feeling like he's inherited a bird's nest of problems, is now contemplating a dramatic exit. Could Mercedes be heading for yet another shake-up? And with Toto Wolff hinting at a brand new technical team, is a complete rebuild on the horizon? James Allison's comeback was supposed to be the bright spot for Mercedes amid the gloom of recent years. Taking over from Mike Elliott, who famously designed the 2 worst cars in Mercedes' recent history, Allison had a colossal task. His mission: transform a discarded car into a competitive beast. However, this wasn't an easy feat with the current regulations and a tight budget cap breathing down his neck. Rumours of Allison considering his departure before the 2025 season have been swirling, especially after he once tried to resign. Mercedes, however, clung to him like a lifeline, hoping he could steer them back to their glory days. Let's not sugarcoat it. The W15 is no top contender. Sitting as the 4th fastest team on the grid isn't what Mercedes fans had in mind. Upgrades have been made, but they're as underwhelming as a flat soda. Even the team's board is frustrated with the sluggish pace of improvements and the disparity between simulator data and actual track performance. This dissatisfaction has led Allison to contemplate leaving. With key figures like Loic Serra and Aldo Costa jumping ship, Mercedes feels like a sinking vessel. Allison's task of reviving the team's fortunes seems more daunting by the day. There were even whispers about bringing back Elliott to impart some wisdom on the zero-pod design used by Red Bull, but with that option off the table, the real question is whether Allison still has the drive to reclaim the top spot for Mercedes. He isn't a lone ranger. Both he and Elliott had the support of a technical team whose performance is crucial. Given the recent departure of aerodynamic head Giacomo Tortora, it's clear that things at Mercedes are far from rosy. There seems to be either a fundamental misunderstanding or a misinterpretation of the rules that could persist for years. By 2026, Mercedes plans to go all in on engine and car performance, regardless of their current position. Toto Wolff appears ready to work with an entirely new technical team, which might be the best course of action. High-profile members each have their own take on the situation, and starting from scratch could be the ticket to progress. It doesn't help that Red Bull has managed to squeeze performance from a design Mercedes deemed a failure. Allison himself expressed a desire to visit Red Bull's Milton Keynes factory to see how they achieved their success. Despite Wolff's comments being misinterpreted as a sign that Allison might be ousted, Mercedes still places great faith in him. However, a significant obstacle now stands in their way: the budget cap. In the golden days, high-profile teams like Mercedes could spend freely to fix their cars. Now they're limited to $135 million, set to decrease by another $5 million next year. For context, Wolff admitted that Mercedes used to splash out as much as $500 million on their car in the past. All the debates about Mercedes' technical team haven't deterred Allison from his goal. He's now fully focused on optimizing the W15. With recent upgrades at Imola and Monaco, the team identified some key weaknesses. Allison mentioned that they plan to bring upgrades to every race until Silverstone, given how far they lag behind the top 3 teams. The main takeaway is that they're finally getting a grip on the problem. Allison recently commented, "Well, I am not sure that I've noticed too much progress, but I think after a pretty uninspiring start, we are starting to get to grips with the car a little bit. I'd cautiously say that, yes, we did see improvement with the latest package compared to the previous year, but it's a gradual gradual thing. I don't think it's any more difficult for me than it is for all of us in the team. It's always tough when a car isn't where you want it to be, and that is not an enjoyable situation. On the other hand, once you start to get your head around it and move forward, that becomes extremely pleasurable. The silver lining for Mercedes is that despite the looming departure of Lewis Hamilton at the end of the year, the 7-time world champion is committed to helping sort out the car before his exit. He feels indebted to the team for his successful career. But let's face it, the competition is fierce, and with the current regulations in their third year, there's only so much performance that can be eked out of an upgrade package. A smart move for Mercedes, as Allison hinted, might be to look at their customer team, McLaren. The Woking-based squad went from struggling to race winners and podium regulars within a year. George Russell echoes this sentiment, saying, "McLaren qualified P17 and P18 last year in Miami, and this year Lando Norris won the race. It shows what is possible when a team gets things right. But right now, we don't have things right. I don't really know what's wrong with the car, to be honest. On a good day, we're P5, and on a bad day, we're P8. I think we have to accept that we are the 4th fastest team at the moment. The lap times and championship standings do not lie. This is where we are." While it's tough for Mercedes to swallow their dramatic decline, it's not the end of the road. With upcoming upgrades for the W15 and Allison's renewed commitment, the Silver Arrows might soon be battling at the front again. Allison seems to be taking a strategic approach. He wants to optimize the current car while laying the groundwork for future success, considering the regulation shift in 2026. However, the technical team's struggle to fully grasp the car's platform leaves a big question mark. What do you think about Allison's potential exit? Share your thoughts in the comments, and until next time, goodbye for now.